Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The Hurricane Watch Team is here with your latest update on the tropics. Today, we're going to be talking about Tropical Storm Grace potentially becoming a hurricane as it approaches the Yucatan Peninsula. Talking about Tropical Storm Henri, as it is also expected to become an 80 to 80 up to an 80-mile-per-hour hurricane, and also talking about the remnants of Fred as it continues to produce heavy rain over the southern parts and moving into the Carolinas and the flooding from that. So here is Grace. As you can see, a lot of convection over Jamaica. Still some heavy rain over not only Cuba but also Haiti, where they had that earthquake that killed nearly 1,400 people. So that was very catastrophic. Very unfortunate that they're not only having to deal with the pandemic, but they're also having to deal with an earthquake, and they're having to deal with flooding from a tropical storm. But nevertheless, here it is. The air pressure has been estimated to be about 1,003 millibars. You can actually see the storm really starting to rotate. About 1,003 millibars. You can see lots of convection there south and actually over Jamaica right there. So lots of heavy rain from the storm. Lots of heavy rain. I actually wanted to go to windy.com and talk about, no, not Wingstop, windy.com, and just kind of look at the radar and see what we're dealing with in terms of radar and heavy rain with tropical storm, with this tropical system. Now, according to Windy, the storm did not, the storm, according to this, completely missed Jamaica, but according to the National Hurricane Center, it made landfall in Jamaica. So it's kind of like, it sort of depends on which model you're using. If you're using the Euro model, the GFS is going to have it farther south. So, it depends on what model you're looking at. So I wanted to look at the radar and have an idea of what we're looking at with this storm. I don't know. I thought it would be a better idea of where the low-level center of circulation is. If I go to Zoom Earth, maybe there'll be a better idea of where this low-level center of circulation is in terms of radar. Also, we still have Hurricane Linda. I completely forgot. Are you serious? I had completely forgotten to talk about it, but here it is. Here's that storm right there. Still a category. I don't know what category it is, but it is still a hurricane, as you can see right there. Pretty strong, very big eye, as you can see. I'm actually make sure this is just 3 hours. Make this a little bit quicker. So this is Hurricane Linda. So Hurricane Linda still has the eye. I'm really not going to really talk about Linda because it's not impacting land. Maybe some swells. I can't even say any swells for. I can't even really say there might be any swells for even Hawaii, because by the time it gets there, it's going to be so much weaker, and so really no threats to land. But there is the latest satellite imagery of Hurricane Linda. Sorry I haven't been making daily or hour or updates like I usually do. I'm on vacation currently in St. Joseph, Missouri. So anyway, really wanted to talk about that, but here is this. So they're getting radar from there, but the center of the low-level center circulation is over Jamaica. If we look at this, you can really see some of that rain. I'm going to see if I can actually go and figure out if I can get better radar. But you can actually see the low-level center circulation right there over Cuba, or Jamaica there, moving over away from Jamaica. We turn that rain off. We'll have a better idea of what we're looking at with this tropical system. So here is, again, Tropical Storm Grace. Again, winds are about 50 miles an hour, 1,003 millibars. I do think that this 60 to, this is really starting to look healthy. Regardless, even though this is developing and becoming even stronger over land, that's because of the brown ocean effect. It's dumped so much rain and it's just evaporating back into space. Or back into space. Jesus, that sounded stupid. Back up into the upper levels of the atmosphere, and convection there is why we're seeing that convection there over Jamaica. So if I go to the National Hurricane Center, there we go. Here is Grace there. Winds still remain around 50 miles per hour there. Hurricane warnings have been issued for the east coast of the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico. Hurricane watch and has been issued for the Cayman Islands. So it's currently 5 miles south of Montego Bay, Jamaica, 225 miles east-southeast of Grand Cayman. Maximum sustained winds are about 50 miles per hour. Present movement is at the west, or about 280 degrees at 15 miles an hour. Air pressure has actually dropped from 1,005 earlier today down to 1,003 millibars there. So we're currently still really watching this storm. I just wanted to pull this up. So again, there's those hurricane warnings, and tropical storm warnings along the east coast of Yucatan Peninsula, moving over. This is expected to become a much stronger storm now. They're now predicting an 85-mile-an-hour hurricane. So they think in 12 hours it would have 70 miles an hour, and so this storm is going to really intensify, and I think this could intensify really quickly. There's not supposed to be a lot of dry air or anything like that. I wanted to talk about also tropical storm Henri, as winds are now of 65 miles an hour, and it is also expected to become a hurricane. So tropical storm watch still in effect for Bermuda at the moment, given that the storm is still in relatively close proximity. It's really going to depend on how close this gets to land, the farther south that this storm shifts right now, the farther west it will be. If it moves to the north, the farther east it will be. So it really depends on how much it shifts. So now, regardless of how close or how far it is, it's still going to bring swells to not only Bermuda, but also the east coast, definitely the outer banks there along the North Carolina coast. So if I come here, right here, so there's the center, you're going to have swells coming like this. But once it's roughly right here, it's going to be producing swells like this, and also swells in every single direction. And so, as this continues to move this way, this is going to be where they're going to have the biggest swells here along the North Carolina coast. So that's something we're definitely going to be watching very closely and very carefully. I do want to talk about the intensity of the storm. So they're also estimating again 80 miles an hour. They're estimating that this is gonna hold off at 70 miles an hour for quite some time there, from 12 hours all the way out to about 60 hours from now. So it's gonna really hold that intensity. If we go back to tropical tidbits and sort of talk about what we have with the system, Henri is really, this is what it looks like right now. Really can see that buzzsaw shape right there really starting to take shape. Lots of convection there near the center. And to the north right there is Bermuda right there. So they're really starting to get some of those rain bands. Some swells making its way out to Bermuda right now. So that is Tropical Storm Henri. Again, depending on how far west this goes, something we're definitely going to be watching for sure. Some of them saying a hurricane, others are saying only a tropical storm, others are saying a Cat 2. I don't really think we're going to be seeing a Category 2. I don't know yet. But a hurricane is certainly possible with this system. Grace, again, air pressure is 1,003 millibars. This is the storm we're going to have to watch as it makes its way across Mexico. And I do want to look at the analysis tools right here and take a look at the ocean temperatures in the West Atlantic. So again, we're still seeing 30 degrees centigrade across the majority of the entire Atlantic right now. Or Gulf of Mexico, I should say. Not the Atlantic. Most of the Gulf of Mexico, we're seeing 30, 31 degrees centigrade. Incredibly hot. And the storm is going to continue to move west and could go through rapid intensification as it moves over those 30 and almost 31 degrees centigrade water temperatures. So I want to look up the Gulf of Mexico sea surface temperatures. I can't even spell anymore. What the heck? Gulf of Gulf of Mexico sea surface temperatures. I kind of just want to see what are we looking at with the Gulf of Mexico? This is not the the page I wanted. Maybe this one. This is the one I wanted. So I just wanted to talk about the sea surface temperature. So as you can see here, this was as of the 16th of August. As you can see right down here. As you can see right down here, 16th of August, 2021. So again, this is where Fred took out some of that energy as it kind of moved across right through here. Something like that, roughly. And then also down here, we're seeing very, very warm water temperatures, definitely along the north coast of Texas and Louisiana. Very, very warm water temperatures, roughly here in west. Roughly, we're seeing over 30 degrees. We're seeing 30 and 31 degrees for sure. Definitely along all through this region, definitely the west and the northwest Gulf of Mexico. We're really seeing those really warm water temperatures there, incredibly hot. Very, 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 very serious there. Dealing with what we're seeing here, could be dealing with very dangerously hot water temperatures. So, sea surface temperatures. So currently, it's not actually. I can actually go back here. Just go to the. Let me see. That's global, Gulf of Mexico, Hawaii, North Atlantic. This will be alright. So, here we go. Talk about where this storm is at. So, I'm going to do red to indicate low. Well, I'm not going to do red, actually, because you won't see it. We're just going to, we're going to keep it with black. Actually, it's right there. So that's roughly where the center circulation's at. So the storm's going to go like this, and then move like this. Something like that. And it's going to go over these very, very warm water temperatures right here. So, again, we're talking 29, 30, 31 degrees centigrade. Now, that's just on the surface. That's just the skin of the ocean right there. We still got to talk about TCHP, which is tropical cyclone heat potential, which is how much energy is in the ocean for these storms. I also just wanted to point out that's where Fred took out some of that energy and cooled those water temperatures down there in the northeast Gulf of Mexico. Right there. That is right there. There we go. A little bit better to see. So, I want to talk about tropical cyclone heat potential in the Gulf of Mexico. TCHP. Because talking about that is going to be something we're really going to need, because that's the serious stuff we got to really worry about. I'm actually going to look at the Caribbean right now. So look at this TCHP. We're talking 130 to 140 kilojoules per centimeter squared. Okay? So let me talk about where this storm is at right now. This storm's right here. The storm's going to move right in this direction. Right over where it has some of the highest energy potential for tropical cyclone. There's a lot of it there, which is why I think, yes, there will be a little bit of dry air and some wind shear to the north of the storm, but again, you have high pressure over here, which is keeping the storm to the south, not allowing it to just come through here and ravage the north central Gulf of Mexico or whatever. So that's not going to happen. Okay, you have all this high pressure over the northern Gulf of Mexico. There's a lot of there's a lot of hot water that's going to go over, which is why I think that there's a possibility. Okay, there's a possibility that Grace could certainly go through rapid intensification. So here is Tropical Storm Grace right now. There's a lot of convection going on. I think this is taking a picture once a minute. All right. Look at that convection. There's more convection, left and right, left and right. So what I wanted to talk about, there's two main blobs of convection, roughly. Okay. right here. That's too light. There's some, well, it's right here. You got this blob right here, and this blob right here. The LLC is probably right there, and it's moving roughly this direction. And there's blobs all over the place. There's convection blowing up left and right, left and right, left and right. That's what you start to see. Once the energy, here, let me do red. So you have, let's just say the LLC, it almost looks like we'll just say it's right here. If you start getting convection wrapping around like this, and starts to get tighter and tighter and tighter until it starts to make an eye, that's what you got to watch out for. So right now, there's a lot of convection all the way around here. I just made a circle. I didn't know you could do that. That's pretty cool. Anyway, I don't know what I'm doing now. Once that convection begins to go all the way around the center of circulation, let's say the LLC is right there, and it begins to get a little bit tighter and a little bit tighter. The tighter it gets, the stronger those winds are going to get. And so that LLC, the convection is going to start wrapping around faster and faster and faster. And when it starts really getting close is when you're going to see that eye pop out. It's sort of what we started to see with Tropical Storm Fred. But with Tropical Storm Fred, let me get rid of this. It was something like this. You had, dry air was able to come in, and there was even a little bit of wind shear coming in this direction with Fred. Okay, this was with Tropical Storm Fred. Dry air was able to come in and kind of get in the center circulation and kind of choke it out a little bit, but still produce an incredible amount of heavy rainfall. So right now, that's the storm that we're looking at right now. Lots of strong wind, lots of gusty winds over Jamaica. Still, some heavy rain just to the west of Haiti. And this is something I'm seeing, and I'm really starting to get worried about it because not only in Haiti or Jamaica, but also the Cayman Islands. Cuba, look at that convection happening over Cuba. That is incredible. So we got a lot of heavy rain over Cuba, Jamaica, Haiti. The Cayman Islands are going to start to see some of that heavy rain in this region. You can already see some of those rain bands moving westward. And it's sad, but it's incredible. This is what we got with remnants or Tropical Depression Fred. Fred no longer got a strong core. You can kind of see it's up here. But over Atlanta, we're still getting these feeder bands onshore flow. All right, that can cause tornadoes. Oftentimes, when you have a different direction in wind, is known as wind shear. When there's different directions in wind, that is known as wind shear. So if you get wind coming in, let's say, like this, and then you also have this coming in like this, that could cause some tornadoes in this area. This could produce some tornadoes as this cluster of thunderstorms move in this direction. So there could be tornadoes along the Carolina coastlines. And this storm is also another serious thing that we got to watch out for. Also, I do apologize that I didn't do an update of the storm making landfall. There was a lot that was going on where I am right now. But there's still convection happening. And it's able to draw in moisture not only from the Gulf a little bit down here, still trying to draw in some moisture from the Gulf, but also from the Atlantic area. So from the western Atlantic, it's able to draw in moisture and produce heavy rains not only over Florida, but Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina also. So that's certainly something else that we are definitely keeping a close eye on. So I'm going to probably end this off right now. This has been your latest update on the tropics. We have definitely got this storm that we got to watch out for. I will definitely be doing an update. I might do one later tonight. I'm going to try to do more. But, can't certainly 100% say it's going to happen. But I'll see what I can do. But this is what we got right now. This is Tropical Storm Grace as winds continue to intensify now will continue to intensify. Winds are now at around 50, could remain about 50 miles an hour, but that air pressure continue to drop down to about 1,003 millibars. So, yes, Grace is certainly a storm that we are going to keep an eye on. As that storm continues to move westward, hurricane warnings are now in effect for the eastern part of the Yucatan Peninsula. With all that being said, have a wonderful rest of your... have a wonderful rest of your afternoon, and I'll talk to everybody later this evening. With all that being said, peace out.